Ben Shapiro is the editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire, syndicated columnist, and the host of the wildly successful Ben Shapiro Show. It's a podcast. Hey, Ben, let's start by talking a little bit about what happened down in Florida last week with Parkland, that high school there. This time, the debate seems different, and it seems like people in Washington on both sides of the aisle are trying to make sure that school violence, you know, they can do something about it. They haven't been able to get a handle on it so far. What's your suggestion?
I mean, I think the first thing that has to be done is obviously security at these schools needs to be radically escalated. When I was in high school, I went to a Jewish day school out in Los Angeles, and a mass shooter named Buford Fierro actually drove past our school and saw there was armed security outside. He wanted to target a Jewish center, and he proceeded to drive right past it. He saw that he didn't want to go where there was armed security. He went over to the JCC instead in the East Valley here and shot up the JCC. Armed security does make a difference, and having lots of security guards at these schools would be a welcome thing. I think students should have their IDs checked when they walk onto campus. We should be guarding our children like we guard our banks. I mean, these are our most valuable asset, and the idea that anybody would oppose this on any ground seems to me unreasonable.
Right. I just worry about, you know, in situations when there's a budget and teachers got to buy their own supplies, then you got to go tell these people who are living off property taxes, go spend money for armed security. I wish there was a way to do that nationwide.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there should be talk about, you know, federal dollars going toward things like that, and I think that if there are states that are spending on various, you know, boondoggles around the country, it seems to me this should be priority number one. This one should be definitely near the top of the list. It should not be near the bottom.
Yeah, Ben, we interviewed a guy, Sheriff Richard Jones. He's the sheriff in Butler County, which is in Ohio. Pretty tough guy. We liked him. We all liked him. He put on Twitter, he wrote to the teachers in that area. He said, come, I'll teach you conceal and carry. I'll give you a conceal and carry license. I'll teach you, train you how to carry a gun so that you can take them inside your classrooms, and I'll do this for free. Hundreds of teachers have responded. Listen to this.
When people say teachers don't want to be armed in school, that's not true. This is a community in Ohio between Cincinnati and Dayton, and it's overwhelming with the numbers. We're going to do it for free. We're going to teach the teachers. We're going to give them a concealed carry permit when they're done. In Ohio, you can carry a concealed carry in the schools if the school board allows you to do that. We're going to do the training. We're starting the training next week. We're going to have 50 to a class, and we're leading by example.
I guess the idea is if a shooter were to walk into a classroom, you just don't know who in the school is carrying a gun.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great solution. I mean, you're trusting your safety to the teachers anyway every single day when you send your kids to school, and we're telling these teachers that it's better for them to jump in front of doors and block bullets with their body than to arm these same teachers so that they can actually defend the students. It makes zero sense. I mean, some of the heroes that we saw at Parkland, including the coach there who died in order to protect students, wouldn't have been better if that coach had been able to protect himself and protect the students with a gun on campus? Again, you're already trusting these teachers with the safety of the kids.
Ben, what's your take on the background checks that allow Nicholas Cruz to legally get a gun? Are you okay with that, knowing his years of mental illness that they've been dealing with in the school system?
No, obviously this is insanity. I mean, the fact that the background check system is not transparent, the fact that you'll have federal background checks that are not coordinated with local background checks, as we've seen in other mass shooting cases, the fact that the FBI was twice told about this guy and that twice they did nothing about it. One of the big problems with the push for gun legislation is that there actually has to be someone who enforces the legislation. There are tens of thousands of people across the country who are straw buyers, who are illegally purchasing guns to hand off to people who cannot legally purchase guns, and something like 44 of them were prosecuted in a several-year period. So if the government is going to be given additional power, they should at least be using the power they have right now to prevent people who are bad from getting guns.
Yeah, it's more dangerous to buy beer for kids than it is a gun for a kid right now.
Enforce the laws we have.